Good morning, everybody. This is Sean, the ToGA brothers, with you. It's about 5:15 in the morning. I just got finished working. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. But I have enough energy to be able to get home, so that's not a worrisome. That's not a problem. But going to my car and pretty much getting ready to go home led me to the whole point of this video. And that whole point is I'm concerned. Now, I get we're not all born and we're not all equal and we're not the same. That's a given.
Insert parking ticket.
Yeah, I'm in a controlled parking lot at work. We park there. I would love to have my windows down, guys, but it's going to be noisy for this video, so bear with me. Okay. The problem that I see is that a lot of you get to a place mentally, physically, and visually, and that's when you start to question certain things. For example, hear me out. You're on your way to an errand, and it takes you 10 minutes to get there, right? And it's your normal route. Now, as you travel, it's taking you 35, 45 minutes to get there. But here's the kick. Traffic is routing you not near your destination, but it's telling you to go the opposite way. Right? So you start driving and you start driving and you start driving. And then now we're getting to where this is really a kind of a bad example, but I'm trying to get you guys visually to understand kind of why it's important, right? Now, you all don't have to follow this advice. I'm very well aware of that. Now, I would like to tell you, I am 37 years old. I'd also like to tell you that I have been in different types of jobs. I'd also like to tell you, I've been in different positions in those different types of jobs. I got hired and I stayed there, and then I realized it wasn't right. I realized it was time to go. But it wasn't that they said it was time for me to go. I said it was time for me to go. They weren't matching my energy. They weren't matching my logic. They weren't matching my willpower. But they definitely weren't matching my capability of progress and growth in that specific place. What does this have all to do with this video? If you do life pretty much in a mundane, routine type order, you're missing out. Right? You're missing out. I'm going to put it bluntly, I'm going to put it face value. You're missing out. Okay? Now, whether that's unfortunately terrible for you, that's up to you to decide. But I'm telling you, you're missing out. Now, part of that you're missing out, I'm concerned for you. I'm concerned for your well-being and for your safety. Okay? Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because all too often, you guys, let's go back to that whole scenario I was talking about, right? So they're telling you traffic needs to go the opposite way, right? And you look up there and it's miles and miles and miles of just empty gravel, empty street, empty road, empty concrete, whatever you're driving on, okay? There's nothing. I mean, for miles, and by miles, I'm talking like 10, 20, 30 miles. But yesterday, nothing was going on. Okay. Weird. So you keep going, right? To me, alarm bells would be ringing non-stop. Okay, yesterday, nothing was going on, and it was taking me 10 minutes to get there. I'm looking ahead, there's not a soul. There's no cones, there's no VDOT, there's no personnel, but, I mean, by personnel, I mean, that would have a reason to be there. There's just one person telling you, go around, go away. So people like, okay, I'll go this way, right? So then you start to worry, and then you start to go, I don't know why I'm driving. I don't know why I'm driving, right? But that thought process doesn't click, right? You just drive happily to where you're going, and you kind of accept it, like, all right, let's go, come on, right? So yeah. Now, fast forward to, this is going to sound funny, but please bear with me. I know sometimes my words don't word, and my thought don't thoughts, right? But just bear with me. Fast forward to 20 minutes ago, right? So it's kind of like that scene in a movie where you're watching the first 15, 20 minutes and it's in real time, right? Or it's an event. And then all of a sudden it says 15 years prior, right? So it's trying to set the scene for a moment you need to know about, right? Same thing. Okay, 15 minutes ago or 20 minutes ago, I was just on a bus, and there were nothing but employees and people that were working on a shuttle, okay? And they were going to a parking lot, right? Okay, cool. My car's parked in a parking lot probably too, right? I mean, 99.8% of the time, it's probably parked in a parking lot. Maybe it's parked in some other place, you know, on that other small percentage. But here's where things get interesting. So where I work, there's different colored parking lots. And it's clearly marked. I mean, it will tell you when you enter. It will tell you as you drive. It will tell you as you move around each parking part of that parking lot. So it's labeled, right? Now, here is my question. I'm not trying to call this particular person out, but this person is a great example of why I am concerned for all of you guys, right? Now, those of you that have this mentality that I have, I'm not worried about you because I know that things will start clicking rapidly, and then that's where you'll start making your choices, okay? But this particular individual basically stayed on there, didn't say a word to nobody, right? Went by one, went by another, and we got off. We keep going, getting off, and then people kept coming on. At no point did they say, hey, wait a minute, I'm not parked here. Where am I? It took us, pretty much one of us, okay, I'm not going to beat around a bush. I'm going to tell you. It took me to ask this person, hey, do you need some help getting your stuff off? They got puzzled and said, no, actually, I'm in the wrong parking lot. How do I get to the XYZ parking lot? Like, to be honest, the easiest way is to go back to where you came from and get on the right shuttle, because they're not going to go all over. It's kind of like the metro, like the Washington Metro, DC Metro. The silver line, it's not going to go over to the red line, and then after the red line, when they're done on the red line, they're not going to go back to the blue line. They can't. It's physically impossible, right? They have to continue their routes. Unless the train master or the line master, I don't know the proper word for it. My buddy Richard would know this, okay? Can move the track physically, like the track separators, right? To move it from one direction to another, right? If they physically move that, there's a way to do that. But they're not doing that all day long. They'll do that if need be for the business, right? So what we end up having to do is you have to basically go all the way back to where you came from, like basically to where you can transfer to a new train to go to a different direction, right? Well, that's the same mentality and thought process that this particular person, I would have hoped, would have had. Like, wait a minute. I know that these stop numbers and these posts don't ring a bell, right? And the color of the lot doesn't ring a bell. So right there should have had alarm bells going off on his mind, right? Now I would imagine that because they probably parked in that parking lot, since they know where they're parked, they would have known where the entrance is and would have known where the exit is, right? You're not going to know this from memory, but my point is if you entered, you visually saw it, right? Now, if you are on a bus or a shuttle and it goes to an entrance and it doesn't look nothing like it, alarm bells should be ringing, right? Okay? The same thing is just like a car on your dashboard, right? Or even physically. If your car drives a specific way and you go from point A to point B and point B to point A, the next time you are going from point A to point B, if things feel funny, are you going to start driving continuously the same way? No. You're probably going to pull over and find out what's going on. Why is it driving funny? You're going to start looking at your gauge. What's different? Why is it acting funny, right? Then you're going to start listening for sounds, start listening for, noises. You're going to start feeling certain things, right? But you do this the minute it happens, right? So when something or someone is really in control of your whereabouts, aka a shuttle, an Uber, and guys, this is even posted on your Uber app. It's asked pretty much like a million times. If things feel odd or different, say something and do something, okay? Really, you should say something, but more importantly, do something, right? I can't tell you how critical that is. 65% of all your problems in life, let me tell you something. It's no secret, and I'm about to spill a myth. It can pretty much be resolved is if you do something and say something, okay? It may not fix it 1,000,000%. It may not fix it 50%. But it may fix it from happening further or again, right? Because it's probably not going to fix what just occurred, but it won't happen from going further, right? That's all I'm getting at in this video, is if he would have turned and said, hey, this looks different. Am I going to such and such a lot? We could have easily said, hey, no, it's not. He could have easily basically picked up the phone, whoever he's meeting or going home to, or wherever he's trying to go, like, hey, I got on the wrong shuttle. I need to go ahead and find my way back. We all work there, okay? We easily could have been like, hey, the easiest way or the best solution for you at this point is to do X, Y, and Z, or A, B, and C. Now, we could also provide that instruction to them. the shuttle driver or shuttle operator also could be like, hey, stay here after I drop this entire route off, or after we're done at this entire route, I'm going to go out of service and I'll take you to where you need to go. Or they could easily just say, hey, listen, I'm going to be picking up some passengers, cool your heels. At one point, we're going to stop at a stop section, an intersection. At that point, what you need to do is get off there, right? All too often, you guys put your decision, your choices, your actions into someone else's hands without any further input from you. When you can make all the decisions, all the choices, from standing up, not well, physically sometimes, but standing up, speaking up, and doing something. That's all this video is trying to tell you guys. Is you guys wait until the moment it's too late. Now, I know I've spoken too much. I know I've drilled this, but let me close out this video with a point that I would love to drive this point home with. Okay? Now, and I hope that this point will really ingrain this whole concept into you further, okay? And why I'm trying to be so dramatic about this, okay? All right. It is the summertime. I live near DC. I won't tell you where because of my safety. I live near DC. If any of you guys are familiar with DC, DC has a repertoire of being hot as heck a few times. And by a few times, I mean a handful of times. And by hot, I mean I've seen it recorded to get 108 degrees. Las Vegas, on a regular day, is 95 degrees during the morning hours. And then it gets hotter than that during the day. Okay? Now, I need to vent this because it's getting a bit stuffy and a bit hot in here, so. Sorry, guys. Okay. So. Run the AC for a little bit. Okay. It's summer. Temperatures are going up. And up. And up. They're not going down, unfortunately. Unless it just rains and rains and rains and rains. Rain is not hot. I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you also didn't need me to tell you that, okay? So if it's hot outside, you're going to what? You're going to sweat, right? It's no surprise, no joke. You're going to sweat. Now, your body is made up of chemicals. It's made up of chemicals you need to survive. Unfortunately, our body has pores. It has holes in our body, right? On a given day, look at your skin and you'll see small holes that are kind of open, right? When you sweat, that stuff that you're profusely expelling from your body is covering you again. Now, you don't know this, or maybe you do. I hope you do. But if you don't, I'm going to tell you. In that layer of moisture, there is dirt and bacteria, right? Not enough to kill you, but it's not clean, right? That's why when you sweat and you don't clean it, you basically grow pimples. Now, pimples, I'm deviating here because I'm trying to help you spiderweb back to my point, right? And as to why it's important. So bear with me, I'm almost done, I promise. Pimples is dirt that's trapped and can't go nowhere, right? And it needs to be removed, but it wasn't, and it needs to, okay? So we clean it with soap, right? Now, eventually, your skin's going to open back up enough to be able to let that soap in there and clean it out and wash it out. And then you need to hydrate it so it stays moisturized so that it doesn't do that again, right? Kind of going along that same lines, your body needs its liquids. It needs its salt. It needs its water. It needs its replenishment. We all drink what? Gatorade, right? Powerade. What's in Powerade? What's in Gatorade? It's got a lot of flavor. It's got a lot of good stuff in it. But the point of that is to replace the liquids your body is expelling as you sweat. Now, think of it as blood. When you bleed, it was in your body to live 24/7. When you bleed, you've lost it. So your body has to make more. If you don't replace it in your body, what happens? Your body basically says, oh no, I need more. And it basically glitches out. Like when your phone's not working properly. Things act funny, right? It's acting like a problem, like it's not correct. Our body's the same way. So, what happens when we do that? Our body starts sending signals to ourselves in symptoms and signs too, but more symptoms. Hey, you need me. Hey, you need me. Hey, idiot, you need me. Hey, dude, moron, you need to give me stuff. When you don't listen to it, then what happens? You faint, okay? Or, this is going to be a bit graphic, so if you don't like it, cover your ears. You're going to vomit. You're going to basically, well, you'll faint too, but you're going to vomit, and you're going to have stomach pains. Then you're going to have diarrhea, then you're going to vomit. Then you're going to have diarrhea, then you're going to vomit. Constantly. Now, when you vomit, you're going to do what's called dry heaving. Nothing is going to come up. Do you know why? Because your stomach is telling you, hey, I need liquids. I need liquids, right? So, that's when you get dehydrated. Now, at that point, you need to fight to survive, right? You need to fight from dying. We're not talking about trying to be normal. We're talking about fighting to be alive. So, where and what does all this have to do with this video? You guys wait until your body, internal body, air quotes, is dehydrated. You wait until a moment is way too late to start to ask questions, to start to alter its choice, to start to alter its outcome for the benefit of you. You wait way too late. So my whole notion and point and begging of you guys is to start that practice, that thought process way before it's way too late. When you have to grab brain Gatorade, you're done. It's over. Okay? It's out of your hands now. You might as well just, like the song says, Jesus, take the wheel. Okay? Well, physically, but it's kind of ironic that I'm driving and I'm talking about taking the wheel. Okay? But back to the video. So you guys understand how important it is to think before you get to that point. That is why I am concerned. I am concerned because you're waiting until that point. Now, if it's you and only you and nobody else for miles and acres and all kinds of space, I wouldn't care as much. And I'd be concerned because if it gets worse, whatever could occur and might occur and should occur, could affect me eventually. There are occasions where you guys are not speaking, and so it's affecting everybody, right? Like the guy in this morning easily could have stopped any one of us and said, hey, I'm on the wrong shuttle. Any one of us could have said, hey, talk to the driver, or go back to the original stop. I would have said, hey, when the driver gets to a good stopping point, politely ask, hey, I'm on the wrong shuttle. Can you drop me off at the other lot? Okay? I'm not going to speak on their behalf. I'm not going to speak on their company, because that's for their business and their practice only. But if I was in his shoes, that's what I would have done. Okay? So he's in DC. Let's picture him in Chicago. Let's picture him in LAX. I would have done the same thing. I wouldn't have waited until they got halfway around and like, I'm in the wrong area. At the moment I noticed something wasn't normal, that's what I would have said something. Because, hey, you may not be able to fix it at that specific moment and second, but you can start the process, right? Like when something happens to you, and people say, oh, you got to do this and send this in, and then wait for a reply, and then do this, and then you got to write this, and then you got to mail this. Okay, so if you have to do all that, if they have to tell you to do all that, you now have to waste the time that it could have been started doing that, right? So if you basically speak up or say something, like they always tell you, see something, say something. It's not always about, hey, that looks different, or hey, that's fishy. It's about recognizing something is out of the norm. Something is out of the normal. Something is deviating from routine. That's where you should say something. Okay? That's what this whole bit in this video is about. Is if you're not saying something, I'm worried. I'm concerned. Because we're all not becoming unified, becoming one voice. You guys all talk about being one gigantic family, being one gigantic unified people. No, we're not. Because if we're all not doing this together, we're being separated. We're being divided, right? We're not united. We're being divided. Simply put. So, I'm going to leave this in your thought. Do you want to be united? Or do you want to be divided? Your call. Appreciate y'all listening. Appreciate y'all watching. Till next time, I'm Sean, the ToGA brother. I'm out. I know this is going to continue, but I am behind the wheel. I'm waiting for a particular spot that I can stop, and I will end the video. So enjoy this next 5 minutes or so of me rambling and doing absolutely nothing, being fully focused on what's going on. Alright, folks. I'm at that point. I appreciate it. Till next time, see you around. I'm Sean. Bye.